Okay, this is another review. This time we're going to talk about slope-intercept form. And really what you use slope-intercept form for the most part is for graphing. Because very simply, if you're using slope-intercept form, okay, with the formula, you have, oh, let me push the button there, y equals mx plus b. And that is what slope-intercept form is. And if you guys remember the different parts of it, so the m, okay, we already talked about in finding slope, is your slope. Okay, so that's your slope. Sorry about the e there. The x is the x coordinate if you have a point that you're going to use to check for something. X coordinate. The y is your y coordinate. Okay, and finally the b, that is going to be your y-intercept, which, if you realize there, your slope and your y-intercept are what make up your name, right? Slope-intercept form. Because if you have it in this form, right away you can go to graphing. You can look for your y-intercept. That'll be the number with the sign right before it. That'll be where your graph crosses the y-axis. And then your slope will tell you where you go from there. So you plot your y-intercept first, and then from your y-intercept you use your slope. You go rise over run and to decide which way you're going to go with that. Now, sometimes you'll have equations where it'll do things like, it'll put you in spots like this. It'll give you 2x plus 3y equals 9. And it'll say to simplify or to graph, and before you can do that, what you want to do is you want to put that in slope-intercept form. So first thing, get your x onto the other side, so we subtract 2x, and you end up with 3y equals negative 2x plus 9. Okay, notice there that I put the x first before I put the 9. That way I'm getting towards my slope-intercept form. Now my y is not all by itself, so I got to divide by 3, and I divide everything by 3. So I like to show it all the times there. And you end up with y equals negative 2 over 3x plus 3. Okay, and if I was to graph that, I have my plus 3, so that's where I'm going to go on my y-axis. I'm going to go up to 3 and put a point there. And then for my slope, okay, I have my negative 2 over 3. So from my plus 3, I'm going to go down 2, because the top is my rise and run. So I'm going to go down 2, and then the bottom is my run, so I'm going to go to the right 3. Now remember, you can also put the negative on the bottom if you'd like. Alright, so that's one thing that you'll do. Also, the main reason that you would use slope-intercept form is if you were given a couple points, or you were given a slope of a line and an intercept. Okay, that's why you would go straight to slope-intercept form. So let's take a look at this really quick. I'm going to move that off to the side. So let's say, for instance, you were given 2 points like the point 2, 3 and the point 0, 4. Okay? Now the reason I can use this with slope-intercept form is because I know right away by looking at this that my x value, okay, when my x value is 0, that's my y-intercept. So I already have right here my 4 is already the y-intercept. So I'm already part of the way into solving this equation. Now the only thing I'm missing is my slope. So we got to start out by figuring out what our slope is, right? So I'm going to go 4 minus 3 over 0 minus 2. So hopefully you remember that's how you find your slope, is your equation there, slope equation. So 4 minus 3 is 1, and 0 minus 2 is negative 2. So now I have my slope, and because I have my 0 value, I have my y-intercept of 4. So now I can just go straight into y equals mx plus b is my equation, and I plug them in. Y equals, my slope is 1 over negative 2, or negative 1 over 2 x, plus plus, and then my y-intercept is 4. So remember, anytime you have your x is 0, that's your y-intercept. Alright, and we're going to look at graphing from that next. So let me just flip the slide here. Okay, so say you ended up with what we just had. We got y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. Okay, and so to graph from that, we start off with, we start off with our y-intercept. So we're going to go up the y-axis to 4, and we're going to put a point right there. So there's 4 on the y-axis. There's our first point. Okay, then you use your slope. Okay, and our slope is negative 1 over 2. Okay, so negative 1, I'm going to rewrite it here so we can take a look. Okay, now negative 1 means that you're going to go down, because it's rise over run. You're going to go down 1 first, so we're going to go down 1. Okay, and then you're going to go to the right 2 because it's positive, so we're going to go over here, and there is our second point. Okay, and you can keep on moving too, so down 1 over 2 again, down 1 over 2 again, and if you wanted to, you could even flip that, right? You can make it 1 over negative 2, because that means the same thing. So we can, instead of going down, we can go up 1 and to the left 2, and then up 1 and to the left 2. And there is my line. Look at that, I did that pretty straight. All freehand even. And that's how you graph your line. Okay, now if you wanted to do this backwards and you say you had a different line like this one and you wanted to write an equation of it, see if I can do this a straight line there. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, you look at your line and now we can see, look, there's my y-intercept at negative 6. So I'm going to use this y equals mx plus b. My y-intercept is negative 6, so the plus b, I'm going to substitute in negative 6, and then I got to count my slope. Now I'm going to use this point because that's kind of where I started. The other one's a little sloppy, I realize that. Okay, but so I'm just going to put in my x, and I'm going to put in my y, and now I got to find my slope. So I start at my first point, okay, and I'm going to go down 1, so my rise is negative 1, and then I go to the left 2, so that's going to be negative 2. So negative 1 over negative 2 should actually be positive, right? So my answer is y equals 1 over 2x minus 6. Alright, hopefully that sums up slope-intercept form for you. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask.